Welcome to the road to 1 million US dollars. Let's get right into the Bitcoin chart for today, because on this weekly time frame, you can see that Bitcoin is now testing the bull market support band, where we already had a first touch with the bull market support band here. Now, the reason this is significant is because the bull market support band is basically the last line of defense here for the bulls here to actually continue this uptrend for Bitcoin, because typically what you'll see if you get a weekly candle close below the bull market support band here, it can take a couple of months of bearish price action and then maybe some choppy sideways price action until we actually get back above the bull market support band. So it is actually critical that Bitcoin holds this as a level of support. And right now the bull market support band is sitting from 64.2K all the way down to 61.3K. And to give a little update on this descending channel for Bitcoin on the daily time frame, we are continuing to see this short-term downtrend play out for Bitcoin. And as of the time of recording, the top of this range is sitting at about 69.7K, and the bottom of this range is sitting at about 56.8K. So as of right now, it is completely possible that we can go to the top of this range and to the bottom of this range as well. Although I do want to be clear that I remain of the opinion that Bitcoin is at some point going to break out of the top of this range, but we just have to wait for more confirmation. And for me personally, at least, I will not be flipping extremely bullish and looking at much higher price action for Bitcoin until I see a breakout of this descending channel and then holding it as a level of support. Because previously we have already seen two breakouts. However, right after that, while we were still testing this trend line as a level of support, we did not hold it as a level of support and then just got a quick move to the downside after that, both times. So that is one thing that I'm looking out for. However, also taking a look at the RSI momentum indicator, we continue to see this downtrend play out, and Bitcoin is right now at an RSI of about 40. So for example, if we see something like this where the RSI starts reversing sharply to the upside here, well, in that case, I would be looking at this trend line once again. But as I said in my last video as well, this can take some time to play out, from a couple of days to potentially weeks before actually breaking this downtrend. So of course, I will also be looking at the shorter term timeframes to actually spot that reversal earlier. So therefore, taking a look at the 4-hour time frame for Bitcoin, we continue to see Bitcoin holding this as a level of support. And this big level of support is sitting from 66 all the way down to 65,000 US dollars. And as of right now, we are trading inside this range. Although if we do get a continuation of this larger downtrend here, well, in that case, we are likely heading to this next level of support below that, sitting at about 63.6K. And if we get more bearish momentum after that, so trading below that 63.6K level, well, the next big level of support is sitting from 62.4 all the way down to 60,000 US dollars for the Bitcoin price. However, if this was actually the low right here at 64.4K, and we will now continue to make higher lows in the Bitcoin price, well, in that case, as soon as we break above this previous high right here at about 66.1K, potentially we could be looking at this as a next level of resistance where the Bitcoin price can get up to, which is sitting at about 67.2K. And I do want to be clear that I think this is a big level of resistance, because this is actually the 0.618 Fibonacci level, where we have already seen multiple rejections recently from this level. So I think it will be acting as a big level of resistance if, or basically when, we go back to this price level. But for now, we have to zoom in a little bit here, because we have this 65.2K level, which is the 0.5 Fibonacci level. That is the first level of resistance that Bitcoin is basically right now just running into. Although taking a look at this daily time frame, it looks a little bit more bearish on the chart here, because we basically closed a candle on the 0.5 Fibonacci level, then closed one below. And after getting some bullish momentum today, we saw a lot of selling pressure later on in the day. And if we get a daily candle close below this level, then it could just look like breaking below, then basically retesting this level right here, and then getting a resumption to the downside. So I do want to be clear that that is something important to take note of here in the next couple of hours when we get that daily candle close. So in terms of Fibonacci level of support, we have the 0.382 Fibonacci level sitting at about 63.1K, which in the case that you do see that move to the downside could be a level that the Bitcoin price gets attracted to. So now taking a look at the Bitcoin liquidation heat map, first of all, on the 3-day time frame, right here you can see that on this move to the upside, we took out a lot of liquidity to the upside right here at about 66.3K. And then after that, there was little liquidity to the upside right here. So we started moving back down. And right now you can see that there is still a lot of liquidity left here at about 63.9K. So potentially you can see the price get attracted to this level. Although again, we must keep in mind that there's a lot of liquidity to the upside as well. So basically what we can take away from this is that we cannot get too much information from this 3-day Bitcoin liquidation heat map. However, zooming out to this 1 month time frame, you can see that we have taken out most of the liquidity to the downside here. And yes, there is still some liquidity left as low as about 63K, although I do want to be clear that most of the liquidity on this higher time frame is to the upside, with about $1.5 billion worth of shorts that get liquidated at about 72.3K. So in my opinion, yes, I think there could be some more downside first. However, I remain of the opinion once again that I think since we are still in a bull market, eventually we are going to sweep this big level of liquidity right here. And we have seen something similar to this just a couple of weeks ago. It was actually on this move to the downside right here. And I remember making videos about this as we were on this move down here, actually confirming a reversal signal right here around 62K. And we had a very similar Bitcoin liquidation heat map at that time where everyone was getting very bearish here, but we got that reversal confirmation signal as well as a lot of liquidity sitting to the upside right here, which we did end up sweeping after some time. So I think we are basically in the same situation where there can be more downside first, but eventually I think we're going to take out that liquidity at about 72,000 US dollars. Now taking a look at Ethereum on the daily time frame, because just recently, a couple of days ago, we held the 0.618 Fibonacci level as a level of support, getting some wicks down to that level. So for now, that is a good thing to see, but I do want to be clear that if you start seeing Bitcoin getting more bearish momentum here, then likely Ethereum is going to follow and retest this 0.618 level once again. And of course, if you see that breakdown, maybe retesting it as a level of support and getting rejected, well, in that case, you need to start looking lower at, for example, this 0.5 Fibonacci level sitting at 2860 for the price of ETH. So now taking a look at the 4-hour time frame for Ethereum, you can see that ETH is right now trading in this big level of support, sitting from 3530 all the way down to 3430. With below that, in terms of support, we have the 0.618 at 3330. However, below that, if you see the price go below this Fibonacci level, we are likely falling into this next big level of support, sitting from 3250 all the way down to 3150. However, if Bitcoin starts looking a little more bullish here in the short term, we could go back up to this level of short-term resistance, sitting at 3650. And again, if you see Ethereum trading above that 3650 level, potentially retesting it and holding it as a level of support, in that case, I think it is likely that we are heading back up to this big level of resistance, sitting from 3750 all the way up to 3800. And for another bullish indicator for Ethereum, of course, right now we are in this downtrend on the 4-hour RSI as well as the daily RSI, but I think the 4-hour time frame is going to be a little earlier with actually confirming that potential reversal for ETH. So if you see the RSI trade up to this level of resistance, it is very important to see what happens there, because a rejection from that level could definitely be an indication that we are going lower for Ethereum. However, if you see a break above this RSI, potentially again retesting it as a level of support and getting that resumption, well, in that case, this could be the signal for you that Ethereum is ready to get more bullish momentum, because of course it would be breaking this downtrend on the RSI, but with that, it actually means that it is also breaking this downtrend in the price action as well. Now taking a look at Solana here on the daily time frame, and it just continues to look a little bit bearish here. Well, I say a little bit, it continues to look very bearish here for Solana. So now breaking below the 0.236 Fibonacci level, sitting at $138. And you really want to see Solana trading back above this 0.236 Fibonacci level. So that is a key level to look out for, especially on this daily time frame. But yeah, as of right now, it is looking like there is definitely potential to go as low as 126. And below that, you get into this territory of this very long wick to the downside right here, sitting as low as $115 for Solana. But for me personally, I would be looking out for this as a potential level to bounce from, especially if the price is already this low, and then you start seeing Ethereum and Bitcoin reversing to the upside. Well, yeah, I think in that case, Solana will likely do the same. Though before I get too bearish for Solana, I do want to show this bullish signal for Sol right now on the 4-hour time frame, which is this bullish divergence, which is whenever you have lower lows in the Solana price, but you have higher lows in the RSI momentum indicator. And typically this is a signal indicating that likely we will get a break from all of this bearish price action, either by the price just chopping around sideways or potentially even getting some bearish momentum in the short term. So that is something to look out for as well. Right now, since confirming this bullish divergence, we have basically been chopping around sideways. But again, I think that if you see some bullish momentum for Bitcoin and Ethereum, likely we can see Solana do the same, especially with this confirmed bullish divergence here. Typically, a bullish divergence on the 4-hour time frame plays out over the next 1 to 3 days. So that is something that you could be looking out for whenever you're trading Solana right now. In terms of invalidation, it would be if you see Solana, like the price of Solana trading below this trend line, or if you see the RSI break below this trend line, because that would also invalidate this bullish divergence. Another thing to look out for on this 4-hour time frame is a break of this downtrend in the price action, because this again could be a signal that the price is ready to reverse back to the upside, potentially even start a next leg to the upside. But at the very least, in the short term, if you get a break above this trend line, potentially retesting it as a level of support once again and getting a resumption from there. So lastly, taking a look at these support and resistance levels for Solana, we have this big level of resistance sitting from 140 all the way up to 150 for Solana right now, just above the current price. And Solana is right now trading in this big level of support sitting from 133 all the way down to $125 for the price of Solana. So on the move to the upside, look out for this big level of resistance and what the price is doing right there. But if we get that move to the downside once again, so continuing this bearish momentum here, and we trade below 125, then you should be looking at this big level of support below that, sitting from 115 all the way down to $100 for the price of Sol. This has been today's market update. Thank you very much for watching once again, and I will see you tomorrow in the next one.